You'd think I'd be ready, wouldn't you? Cha-cha.
Curt, why are you dancing? This is big. This is our 250th episode.
Woohoo! How's that woohoo?
I feel like we should have had extra party music like confetti popping and stuff.
Well, we should have.
I should have thrown glitter.
Here's the thing. You know, we've done more episodes of the podcast than we did of our actual regular show.
When we were on the radio?
Yes. We have 7 months. That's going to be about 140 shows.
They didn't give us enough time to
They did not give us enough
and be
time.
successful, but it doesn't matter because we're soaring now. And if you'd like to give a gift in celebration of our 250th episode, you can follow, subscribe, drop a heart, drop a thumbs up, leave a review, and no U.S. dollars will be harmed or spent in this case.
That's true.
No U.S. dollars are needed. Just like 5 seconds of your time.
Hang on to your U.S. dollars because you're going to need it, right?
Well, maybe.
All right. On the show today, the top 3 things you can do for someone if you're going to ask them to help you move.
Yeah. How our military lost a $60 million piece of equipment. I was at the gym yesterday and all the TVs were showing this story. And I'm like, how in the hell even?
What moms really want for Mother's Day. We'll also talk about things you were once really good at, but not anymore. That was our question of the day for Monday.
We've got a lunchtime mental hack. A lunchtime mental hack.
Mental health hack.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Great. And pay it backwards. I'm using air quotes. Pay it backwards.
All these fun things coming up with Curt and Jen, and here we go.
I have something to add to our very beginning of our show.
You can't because I started the song. What do you have to add?
I just wanted to say thank you to the people listening to make 250 episodes possible even. If people weren't listening, we wouldn't be doing this. And thank you for listening, watching all the things. Thank you. We appreciate you so much. Now, go.
Don't tell my heart, my achy, breaky heart. I just don't
tired of that yet?
Understand.
Elizabeth Hurley and Billy Ray Cyrus are an item. It says Hollywood's latest couple, Billy Ray Cyrus and Elizabeth Hurley. Does that seem like an oil and water mixture, kind of?
You know what? Love is love.
The heart wants what it wants.
It does. And that is all the end. We don't usually do a whole lot of Hollywood gossip, but this we put in because we're like, what the hell?
Yes, that seems to me. Now, you don't know the people involved, but it seems to me like she is slumming it and he is lucking out big time. But
he's over-chicked for sure.
We will see what happens with that, though. Also, because we know you're following and keeping all the stats.
We know you care about Whiskey Business.
Whiskey Business, our trivia team. We play trivia at Sean O'Donnell's every Tuesday night when we can, and we placed second.
That's a record.
Second last night.
A record high.
That means we actually won some dollars.
Some U.S. dollars.
Not
very many U.S. dollars, but they did help pay for the meal.
That's true.
Which, speaking of meal, Curt, you sang for free food last night.
Here's the deal. One of the members of our Whiskey Business team, Lori, birthday girl.
Yeah.
And then we told Sean O'Donnell that, and of course, when he's doing the announcement, it's like, oh, by the way, it's somebody's birthday today. Who's going to sing happy birthday? Who? Anybody? Who?
We're like, Curt, you do it. Curt, you're the one with the best voice of all of us.
And that wasn't even that good of a voice. So yes, I got to serenade Lori with a happy birthday. So I'll say it again. Happy birthday, Lori.
It was very sweet. It was very sweet. And you got a free meal out of it, although you didn't take it because you're a big believer in supporting small businesses.
I appreciate the offer, Sean, but I will sing for free for no food anytime.
That's nice.
Which is a sad thing. Talk about this Real ID deal. Now, this is the thing if you're traveling anywhere, not just internationally, in the U.S., starting in, I guess it's a week now, right?
In 1 week from today, starting May 7th, if you are going to the airport to fly somewhere, you must have Real ID or a passport.
Right.
You have to have one or the other. And let me just tell you, my daughter Macy turned 16 on May 11th.
Okay.
And she desperately wants to get her license on the 12th because May 11th is a Sunday, so she can't get it then. I couldn't even get an appointment. I mean, I later found out that you don't need an appointment for a new license, but everybody's sweeping up these appointments and you can't, there's like for days and days and weeks, you can't even get an appointment because people are needing to switch their regular license to this Real ID.
Well, it's not Macy's fault that that's when her birthday is, but a lot of
No.
people have waited to the last minute here. And that doesn't mean you can't travel. Just got to bring your passport with you until you have this real. Next time you update your driver's license, whenever that will be, you'll get the real ID deal.
But if you don't have it, you cannot travel. If you don't have a passport already, because you didn't used to need one to travel.
Within the States.
Right.
Right.
You have to have a passport or this real ID. And if you don't have either, they're not going to let you get on the airplane.
You can't get on the plane.
No.
Don't you want to get on the plane?
That is all that we are. Those are just our little quick hits. Like these are the little things that we think are important to know.
All right. You have until May 7th to get that done.
Back in time.
Huh?
Okay, so you've heard. I love pay it forward and drive-thrus, right? That's where you go to pay for your meal and you say, you know what? I'm going to pay for the person in back of me too.
Right.
Right? That's all nice and good. And the next person can, the person behind you can decide to do the same thing,
Well, that's
and so
the
on
goal.
and so on.
Yeah, you
right.
hope that it just, so anyway, so that's what we call paying it forward. Now we have something called paying it backward.
And it went viral on TikTok from a woman sharing her experience of someone paying it backward. Her name is Samantha. She was at a Dunkin' drive-thru last week, and when she pulled up to the window, the clerk told her that the guy ahead of her, who'd left, right, because the guy ahead of her, told them that she would be paying for his order.
Now that seems
What?
a little sketch. Yeah, if you're going through the drive-thru, oh, by the way, the person behind me, they got it. That's what so this is not something you need to be practicing.
Right. So in the caption, she said, to the random guy in front of me who lied to the employee, I hope you have the day you deserve.
Yeah. Do not pay it backward. That's not cool. And
I can't even believe that.
I don't know, is the person in the drive-thru window, I don't think they could accept that. Like, oh, okay. Like you said,
Right.
this person's going to take care of it. Bye.
I think that there must have been a lot of comments on this or questions because she did a follow-up post on TikTok saying she did not have to pay for his order. The employees were cool about it, even though they were frustrated that the guy essentially stole his coffee.
I hope he goes back there again and they say, you're that dude. Get the hell out.
She also shared the video of her trying to restore goodness in the world by going back to the Dunkin' and paying for the person behind her. I love that.
There you go.
You know what? You got screwed in this one deal, even though she didn't have to pay.
Right.
But she goes back and puts good in the world.
That's
Bravo.
how paying it forward's supposed to work. Do what she did the second time.
Put good out in the world.
All right.
Curt Cruz, you get asked a lot because you have a truck to
True.
help people help them move.
True.
I would ask you to help me move.
38% of people, they did a survey, and so about a third of people, they say that they secretly hate even being asked to help a friend or family member move. All right. Now, I'm going to...
Which makes sense because it's hard work.
Well...
Takes a long time.
When you're younger, like when you say, hey, I'm going to move from one dorm to the other in college, or, I'll give you a 6-pack, 12-pack of beer, maybe probably a case, and some pizzas. And people are like, okay, sure, we'll help out. You get to a point where it's like, no.
Not even that?
Go rent a U-Haul and do it yourself.
Well, I was just going to say those things that you mentioned. Like if you're the one needing help, people say the top 3 things you can do to sweeten the pot for people to actually say yes is buying food and drinks, paying them for their help, or promising to return the favor when the time comes when they move.
But see, that's the thing. I would never ask somebody to help me move.
You would not?
Never. I have never said, oh, yeah, come on over. I mean, again, maybe in college, but that's when you had enough stuff that would fit in the back of a, like a Toyota Tercel or something like that.
Dude, what kind of side money were you making? Because I worked in radio and I didn't have a lot of US dollars. So when I had to move, I had to ask for help because I couldn't afford it.
You have kids for that.
Oh, no. No.
No, it's just that would not be my thing. And, by the way, you learn this quickly when, like you said, when you have a truck. I just got a text from my friend Kevin 2 days ago. Hey, what are you doing this weekend? I said, I've got events on Saturday and Sunday. Why? Which is a lie.
You're lying now?
And then it was like, oh, I wanted to see if we wanted to get together for some, for lunch or dinner. Like, great. Happy to do it. Yeah. Because people will not come right out and say, I want you to help me move this week. And it's like, hey.
Oh, so you're lying because you were afraid
that
they were going to ask you
I was going to one-up I was going to get them. I was going to catch them in their attempted, oh, by the way, yeah, we're moving this weekend. You said you don't have anything to do. I do have things to do, and it's not help you move.
Why people don't just hire the professionals, you wonder? Over half of people say what I said. It's way too expensive. About a third of people say they don't feel like they need the professionals. And I agree with this last part about what is that?
20%?
Yeah.
2 in 10?
They don't trust strangers with their stuff.
And I won't argue against that either.
Okay.
But aren't there like tons of like, 2 college kids with a truck? That don't
Oh,
charge
yeah.
very much?
That's who I want. That's who I want moving my stuff.
All right, I'm going to play this now. This is about Gen Zers, and usually when we're talking about Gen Z, it's like, well, there's Gen Zers. This is something that Gen Zers are saying about themselves.
It's self-admitted.
If you had to guess which generation would have the worst drivers, in which generation, what would you say? There was a survey that asked that question, and only 30% of Gen Zers believe their generation drives more safely than others. So 70% of Gen Z people say, we're not very good drivers.
Okay, hold please. I'm looking at the
What?
what's Gen Zers generation? Like,
Go ahead.
Okay, you keep going.
Well, we're going to keep going. 43% of millennials think that their generation has the safest drivers. Gen X, that's you and me. 60% of Gen Xers say the same thing, as do 63% of baby boomers. However, this is just showing me as you get older, you drive safer.
1997 and 2012.
That's Gen Z, born between 1997 and 2012.
Yeah, that's right.
Gen Z is saying we struggle with distractions. 54% say they've eaten while driving. About a third say that they've been driving while. Well, who hasn't driven while they're tired? That's tough.
Yeah.
If you're actually nodding off behind the wheel, pull over and get some sleep or something. And about 1 in 10 have had an argument while driving. That's not I guess it is a distraction.
Yeah.
It makes you drive faster. So again, Gen Z saying, yeah, we'll admit it. We're not the best at that. We're the best at everything else, though.
Right.
You think that's what they think? We're the best
Yes.
at everything else? All right, here we go.
Oh, I cannot believe this. I teased earlier that our U.S. military lost a $60 million piece of equipment. That piece of equipment was a fighter jet.
That
After
rolled.
it rolled off an aircraft carrier into the ocean.
They're not supposed to be in the ocean. Boats go in the ocean. Planes go in the air, in case you were wondering. So the government
I
admitted
couldn't believe this.
it was an FA-18 Super Hornet fighter jet. And again, the cost on that was $60 to $70 million. It's a fraction of, okay.
Some
Anyway,
pocket change.
it rolled off the USS Harry S. Truman after the ship reportedly came under fire they were under fire. So I guess they were trying to make some maneuvers and stuff like that.
But why? I mean, why isn't it safely secured to the aircraft?
That was in Yemen.
the watercraft or whatever.
The carrier was deployed in Yemen, mostly to deter fighter jets, but apparently that didn't work because they started firing. The ship made a hard turn to evade fire, and there goes your fighter jet.
Promptly sank to the bottom of the Red Sea. One sailor suffered minor injuries as a result of the incident, but thankfully there was no other injuries.
Mm-hmm. Do we want to say this line too?
You're not going to say it with a neutral tone.
Defense Secretary, it's written here. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has not commented, but the Navy is investigating. It's good the Navy's investigating.
I hope he doesn't share all the secret information when he investigates and just shares his.
You mean in
what
a
he
text?
finds. Yeah. For F's sake.
Humans.
This
All
is
right.
our question of the day that we asked you on Monday, and you responded with great answers. What were you once really good at, but not anymore?
A lot of these answers had to do with what naturally happens to your bod as you age. So, I mean, if you said to me, what am I good at that I'm not good at anymore? I would say jumping high in the air.
Oh, my.
Although I rarely
I
have to
cannot
jump
jump high in the air. Like, seriously, when someone says, those photos where you jump in the air and they capture it, I'm like, I need
know.
something high to stand on so this
funny.
looks better because my fat ass can't get off the ground.
But you look at the picture and you feel like you were like counter height, like way up here, and you're like this far off the ground.
God, it's
maybe
terrible.
4 or 5 inches.
That's a good one.
What were you once good at, but not anymore? Carrie says playing oboe. That's another thing. You lose those skills if you don't use it.
Corey said gardening and growing veggies from seed. My green thumb has gone brown this year.
Oh,
she's
Corey.
struggling. She is not having a good growing year, and she's so sad.
Carlene, hula hooping. Ken says basketball. I now have 2 screws holding my foot together, so that's going to affect your basketball game. And Leslie says, I've lost. I was once good at being patient.
And now
not so
she's
much
not.
anymore.
Amanda said running. I ran track in high school and college. Michael said bowling. Nancy said sticking to an exercise routine. But I expect to do better after I retire in a few months. Ooh, Nancy.
There you go.
Yay,
Congrats.
congratulations.
Another one, Miriam, the music, playing the piano. You lose that skill.
If you don't
use it.
practice it, yeah.
Eric says so many things. Running, foosball, soccer. Foosball?
Foosball.
I don't know when you get worse at foosball. He's got a lot. Oh, eating donuts. He's not as good at eating donuts as he used to be.
I might be better now.
Jackie says driving at night in the rain. That might be true for me too.
That's a good one because your eyesight. Sandra said sleeping. Jenny said staying awake during movies. Yes. Steve said racquetball. Wendy said touching my toes. That is a good answer too.
But I don't know if I can see my toes. That's the problem.
Oh,
I'm
Curt.
kidding. Gymnastics is what Pauline says. That makes sense. Randy, our friend Randy who just retired, math. I took so many years of advanced math in college and I can't remember a lick of it. That was one of the things when I was actually doing the math, and I didn't get to Randy's level, but I was like, am I ever going to use this again?
Well, Randy. But he must not have used it in
he's
his
a
job.
smart
He's
guy.
super smart.
Yeah.
He's like super smart, wicked smart engineer. Wicked smart.
Go back to Boston. All right.
Wicked smart.
Kevin says about everything. I guess that's a fair answer. As far as things I used to be good at, not so much anymore. Pat says running. Is that your Pat?
No.
Okay. And then Juliet, getting out of my car without grunting. You know what my wife...
Even getting up out of a chair without grunting or out of bed.
Dana is making me, and I'm not resisting this because I didn't know this, but it turns out that every time when I get up from eating at dinner, the dinner table, I will put my hands, on the table and lift my... She's like, try just using your... Yes, exactly. You just got to use your knees. That's good.
You lose your leg strength.
Jen has lost the ability to bite her tongue. So
that's funny.
Yeah. I guess the words just come out.
Phil said roller skating backwards. So, you know what? Does that mean he can roller skate forwards really well? And if he can, that's awesome, Phil.
I could never roller skate backwards, by the way. Linda says her ability to sing has waned with age. And Anne, balancing. I have to concentrate more and I think it through. All right.
I can't be as adventurous, but occasionally I do push the limit just a little. Laurel said getting rid of material things I no longer need. She's not good at that anymore. Lily, I love hers.
Metabolizing. That's when your body says, I'm not going to metabolize anymore. I was never skinny, but never had to watch what I ate. Also, her serious answer is that violin. So Lily metabolizing and also
she made
violin.
All-State in high school and had scholarships for college. Wow.
Nice. Tap dancing is what Susie says. My ankles can't take it anymore.
Jill said volleyball. My hands and knees can't take it anymore. Ina said the splits.
Could you ever do the splits?
Let me just tell you, I worked and stretched and stretched. I was in gymnastics. I was in cheer. I could never do the splits.
So you still can't, I'm going to assume.
Oh, yeah. All of a sudden,
You're
I
also
can
not
now.
going to try.
What?
And I was a trumpet player in the band. She says playing trumpet and piano. If you took out my trumpet right now, which I do have somewhere around here, I think nah.
You couldn't do it? I bet you could. I bet you once you started playing it. No, I bet you would. I bet it's like riding a bike.
It wouldn't sound like a fart?
I mean, you probably could make it sound like a fart.
Thanks for helping out with the answers. Those were awesome. And I'm looking forward, by the way, today's question of the day, I think, is a fun one, too.
Okay.
Coming up here.
Yeah,
All
it
right.
is a fun one.
Hockey.
Yeah, I put this in for you because you love hockey so much.
Seattle has officially been awarded an expansion franchise to play in the Professional Women's Hockey League, the PWHL, to begin play later this year. All right. That's pretty cool.
Their colors are emerald green and cream. That's important to me. I like to know the colors of the team.
So the PWHL will make the official announcement later on today, I believe. Later on this morning, if they haven't already.
They're to be known as the PWHL Seattle until a permanent brand is decided.
I still think, and this is one of the ones, because you've heard about the Seattle Freeze, which is not a great thing. Right? You know, how people come to Seattle and the freeze
you think
is
they should be the
hard to meet
freeze?
people. I think, why not be the Seattle Freeze?
Curt Cruz!
Well, we'll see.
You freeze people from scoring. You freeze them from... Ooh, you ice them out.
So the team will play at Climate Pledge, and practice at the Kraken Community Iceplex as well.
Is there a place where we can suggest names? Curt, I love this.
Well, look into it. I mean, what did I suggest?
I feel like you could win some US dollars with that name.
Seattle Freeze?
Yes.
Yeah. We'll see. But I did not suggest Kraken. But that when the Kraken came, they opened it up to, what do you think? People like the Seattle Evergreens and the Seattle, I don't know, but
I was like the Kraken. That's
wasn't
weird,
everybody, but after a while you get a little bit used to it and it's not so bad anymore.
Have a little mental health hack for you.
Please.
It has to do with your lunch break.
All right.
So many people do not take their lunch break. They just work right through it.
Take your lunch breaks.
The hack, set an alarm. A recent study, this is just not an American thing where you're working through lunch.
Okay.
A recent study in Australia found that 80% of workers do it sometimes, and most said it had a negative effect on their mental health.
Yep.
So it's easy if you've got a deadline or you're in the middle of the project. So that's why you set a lunch alarm. You just say, this is my time.
Yep.
Take your break.
And follow it, because I've set alarms for myself too. Like
snooze off. I'm not going to do it.
So I'm going to work on this.
It.
I'm going to work on this for a half hour, and then I'm going to do my other stuff. And a half hour it goes off like nah. You got to pay attention to your alarm as well, right?
Well, you do, and it's a bad habit to work through your lunch. It's just it's not good for you. Taking a break makes you more productive.
Yep, and over the long haul, it actually will make you less productive if you do not take those breaks. Of course, you think, well, if I work through lunch, I'm going to get more things done. But give your brain a little rest.
Here's the thing, though. I think there's so many people. I guess you're taking a rest from no matter what you do during a lunch break, as long as it's not work. Mm-hmm. You're taking a break from the work to kind of refresh your brain, whether you're running errands or just taking time for yourself.
Which should make you more productive throughout the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so. This is very interesting to me.
Well, I got kind of tricked on this one because I was reading
did?
this story. Yeah, tricked. And it turns out it was an ad for this person, which is why I'm not saying their name. It was set up as like a news story, and then you read it. It's like, and if you want
advertorial?
if you want more information, go to my blah 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 and pay this money. So I just used the stuff that I wanted.
But it's still the gist. Like, we're not changing the gist of what we're going to say, though.
I think it's good information to have, especially if you're dating.
Okay.
A professional dating coach conducted a study, among about more than 10,000 women across the U.S. and also the United Kingdom. She found that this study that women agree on one thing: they want to be approached more in public as far as dating goes.
Okay.
They want to actually, in real life, they said 95% of women rather, said that they wish that they were approached more often in real life.
95% that's significant in a study.
The key is learning to approach the right way. It says giving strong eye contact is a key element, which hopefully leads to a full conversation. It creates chemistry. You'd like to think that. Even if you meet, like, say you're out at Fred Meyer in the produce section or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I've heard before that the grocery stores, particularly the produce section, is a good place to meet. I don't know if there's any truth to that. But that's
I like your melons. Is that how you approach someone in the
that's
produce
how
section?
You try that.
I'm not going to.
Because you're spoken for. If I was saying, you know what, Jen Pirak says, I like your melons.
Oh, jeez.
Do you like my banana?
Do you like my eggplant?
I think it's time to push this button.
That was interesting, though. I mean, 10,000 women were studied, and 95% say they want to be approached more in public.
It's tough. Mother's Day is coming up, Mom.
Yeah.
You're a mom.
And we want to talk about what moms really want. I was just, we were just talking about this with Fred Meyer and QFC. We were talking about why just celebrate one day of mom? Why don't you surprise her with little things throughout the week leading up to Mother's Day?
Oh.
Wouldn't that be a good idea?
Yeah.
Maybe I'll have to do that.
Dana is a dog mom, so.
Are you going to do that?
Well, the dogs
That's a good idea.
They always give her a card.
But what if they got her something every day, like some flowers one day, restaurant gift card? That doesn't matter for this, though, because this study shows that all moms really want is a nap.
A long nap.
Without
day off.
Anybody bugging them.
A day off doing everything for the family.
Uninterrupted nap.
And then it says also handmade gifts and cards would work as well. The survey, here we go. 94% of moms say, I just want to have more sleep. All right? That's like almost all. Half of moms say that a nap with no one needing you is the ultimate luxury, with the next best luxuries being eating a meal while it's hot,
Oof, yeah.
not making any decisions. Okay, and a solo bathroom break. So I'm saying I'm agreeing with that, but I think if I said, you know what I gave you for Mother's Day, babe, you don't have to make any decisions for an hour. I think that might be frowned upon.
No, not making any decisions for at least a day.
Okay, even for a day. What if your girl said, here's your gift, don't make decisions for a day? Wah, wah.
Okay. I mean, if Macy gave me a little coupon that says you can pick a day where you don't have to make any decisions, because oftentimes I'll be like, what do you want for dinner? Do you want this, this, or this? I don't care. I don't care, whatever. Okay, that's not true, because if I pick one of those things, she may not eat it.
So now you're saying your Mother's Day gift should be Macy saying, here's what I want you to make me for dinner.
Decisiveness.
I don't know how that would fly, actually. I know you pretty well.
It would work. If I ask a question, I just want an answer.
Says here, thoughtful gifts are nice. Flowers and dinners out are appreciated. Bonus family time is special,
Yes.
but nothing shows your appreciation for what moms do, more than doing it yourself so they can put their feet up. So that's what they're saying. Not only you don't have to make decisions, I'll make decisions for you.
What do you mean? You mean the kid will make the decisions for you?
Nothing
I'll do the
shows your
stuff.
appreciation for what moms do more than doing it yourself so they can put their feet up.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Which, by the way, you had no problem putting your feet up in the studio when we were back at the radio station. Look over there, you got your feet propped up. Everybody could see you, and they, oh, that Jen.
I know, she's so lazy.
No, they're like, you'd get away with it. That's so cute. They'd be like, Curt's lazy.
This is our question of the day.
Let's
but we
lead
have
to it,
some
yes.
things to say about it first.
This starts off by saying, remember in Dazed and Confused, the movie when Matthew McConaughey's character says, that's what I love about these high school girls, man. I get older, they stay the same age. That was a pretty bad Matthew McConaughey.
It was really bad.
Well, the same can be said for your go-to slang. They're saying that people say your slang terms stay the same, even though they may have officially aged out. Someone asked the internet, what outdated slang words or terms do you still use often? All right.
Rad.
That's so 80s or 90s.
Mega.
Some of the most popular answers were answers like gnarly. No. Stoked. Stoked to me is extremely 90s. That had like its eras between like 1994 and 1997. It should be gone.
Word.
Hey, word. Sick.
That's sick.
That's sick. Peace or peace out. Oh, here's a scene. Let's see what you think of this scene here.
Dude, I'm not gonna cave in. End of story, dude.
Dude, 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 dude.
What's
Dude.
that from?
I guess you've got a point there.
I guess you got a point there. That's from basketball. But the point is, dude, as a slang term, can be used in many, many ways.
I still say that.
Dude, I say a lot.
Dude.
Okay. Other examples were, can you dig it? And hella. I don't like hella.
You know what I said yesterday at...
Something was hella good?
Nope, I said, that's grody.
Wow. I love that.
And someone said, oh my God, I haven't heard that word in forever.
That felt like that was kind of wasn't that like a Valley Girly thing? Not just.
Oh, yeah, I guess it was grody to the max, man.
Right. Wasn't that? I was going to say, not only was that like an 80s thing, but also specifically West Coast. So what we want from you. Oh, I should push up a button.
Well, where have you got me?
Won't you give me 3 steps? Give me 3 steps of mister. Give me 3 steps towards the door.
What was that for?
Give me 3 steps. I don't know what that was for. Want to push a different button? It should work. But here we go. There you go.
Oh, jeez.
We want from you your outdated slang words that you still use often. And you probably, maybe people point out, did you really just say grody?
Grody? That's grody.
Does anybody remember when that is so choice?
Yes.
Don't they use that in Ferris Bueller? I think so. It is so choice.
I can't wait to hear what people use because that'll be a little nostalgic remembering some of this stuff.
We'll be back on Friday with your outdated slang words and probably some more fun, interesting, and hopefully non-boring stuff.
Yeah,
For show number 251. Congratulations on 250 shows.
Congratulations to you.
Wow.
Don't be a quitter.
That's right. Don't be a quitter. Ew, that's grody.
Let's get more people to listen to this.
Yes. That's something people can
Share. Yeah, that is actually. Share the good word about Curt and Jen's podcast.
do. Because we don't have any U.S. dollars to.
We're all the fun.
promote
We are
music.
all the fun things. I feel like we just talk about fun things that you can then talk about later and bring up in conversation.
Kind of like, back when we were on the radio. So what we suggest is listen to us as kind of your morning show and then listen to whatever radio station you want.
Yeah.
We do support local radio. Please listen. Live and local is great.
Yes, it is.
There.
Not as good as this, though.
Not as good as this.
We
All
do
right.
appreciate you listening. We'll see you on Friday, like Curt said, with a new episode. We do new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Make good choices, find joy, spread kindness, and laugh.
Laugh.
We forgot to tell people about the laugh thing.
No, that's for.
Oh, Fun Facts Friday. We
that is
have a
for
laugh.
Fun
That's right.
Facts Friday.
Okay.
Yes.
Bye, everybody. Have a good day.
We'll talk to you then. Thanks.